Alright. So here's another one for you, okay? Another one. Now, another joke. Now, there was an Irish pub. And, of course, in Irish pubs, there's Irish people that are drinking, okay? And they're sitting there drinking. And in walks this little guy. A little redhead guy, you know. Leprechaun, basically. And he jumps up on the stool. And he orders a beer. And they look at him funny, but they, think nothing of it. Maybe they just think he's maybe a midget or something, or, whatever. He orders a beer and pays with gold. And then the bartender, bites, makes sure it's real gold, puts it away. Anyway, so he's like suspicious, like, why is this little guy paying in gold? And of course they know their mythology, so he says, he gulps down that beer, and then he says, hey, by chance, are you a leprechaun? He says, aye, indeed, I am a leprechaun. And he says, okay, just want to be sure. So they're sitting there in the bar, and the leprechaun orders a pitcher of beer, and he chugs it all down in one sitting. And they're like, whoa, And in a few minutes, he runs down to the guy at the end of the bar, and just does this with his mouth. And he sprays beer and stuff all over this guy's face, And the guy's like, what in the hell be wrong with you? Right? But he's trying to keep his temper down because he likes to drink at this bar, and he's on tab, so he doesn't want to get thrown out for the night, right? So he forgives it. And the leprechaun goes to the other end of the bar, and orders another pitcher of beer. And then he downs that beer, and a few minutes later he goes down to the other end of the bar with the other guy sitting at the other end. And he does the same thing, goes and he sprays all this beer all over, this beer and stuff all over spits it all over his face, all over him, right? And so this happened once, and then finally he orders another pitcher, and the other guy does the same thing. He's on tab. He doesn't want to get kicked out. He's more curious about what the hell is this crazy leprechaun doing, right? So he orders another pitcher of beer, chugs it down like nothing. A few minutes later, he goes to the bartender and does the same thing. And he sprays all this beer all over his face, spits it all over his face. And he says, and if you do this again in my bar, lad, I'll be cutting your balls off. And the leprechaun says, that's okay. We leprechauns, we don't have balls. And the bartender says, why, that's impossible. Then how do you piss? And he says, we go like this.